So I'm going to just show you this whole Blackbook session and show you how to draw these letters, why I did the certain things the way I did them, the style, the techniques, and the tools that are used. Okay, so you're going to start off with a cube. So I'm going to maybe make this a little bit kind of like bent. And I always just draw really sketchy for this, and then it usually comes together at the end as I start adding different elements. I usually like to make the B a little smaller than the rest of the letters and leave extra room for the S. So now that's the basic shape of the piece, and then I'll usually extend out the top part of the B. So I'm going to end up with these lines that I don't want to have, but towards the end I'll with all the cross hatching and stuff like that, hopefully it all sort of comes together. It usually does. We'll see how it goes on this one. And overall, I don't know if that's how it's going to end up being, but overall I'm thinking this is probably going to be a sort of unedited thing, so there may be some pauses and stuff. Hopefully I can hang on to your attention during this whole process, but I just want to kind of walk you through these letters. And what I like about these letters is being able to go vertical like this. It really opens up your the spots that you have available to you. So if you find a spot where maybe there's not a whole lot of space for you, you can find a sort of vertical area where you can do your thing. Let's see. And so along the way, sometimes you find that certain things aren't big enough. Like in this case, I didn't give myself enough room. I'm also trying to dodge the tripod, so it's a little difficult to, this isn't that normal angle that I would work at. So that's kind of roughly, my letters are sort of roughed in. So now that my letters are kind of roughed in, then I'll start just kind of just really adding it in. And this particular style, it works, at least in my opinion, it works like with a really scratchy kind of loose feel. And then, I mean, you saw the finished piece in the beginning, so you'll see what it'll end up looking like. And then with a scratchy thing like this, I try not to go too far as I'm doing each letter. So what I'll do is I'll sort of go in passes, and I do the passes over all the letters, so that way I'm not committing to too much along the whole piece. And then going in passes, then that way you can give yourself an opportunity to sort of change course a little bit without, I don't know if that makes sense. This bottom part I'm having trouble drawing because of the tripods in my way, so it's probably going to look bad at the bottom, but we'll see. All right. So that's pretty much the gist of the letters. So what I'm going to do now is add the extra dimensions here. So this B, you'd see a little bit of this bottom part. The S, you'd see a little bit of the top. So I'll kind of loosely fill that in. I can't really get the angle with the tripod that I usually like, but we'll just improvise. So now that would be sort of the first pass of darkening the outline, and then I'm just going to keep going and maybe adding some extra cracks and stuff, especially cracks around areas like this where I know that those lines really aren't supposed to be there. If this is the B, these lines here aren't supposed to be there, so I'm going to try to kind of hide those a little bit. Oh, by the way, I'm using this. This is a Pilot Precise V5. I really like these pens. There's a ton of ink in here, so you can do quite a bit of these drawings. And the lines are really consistent, and it seems like it's just a really good pen for this kind of like scratchy stuff. And then it's going to have cross hatching in a little later, like kind of loose, rough cross hatching, and that this pen just really seems to be nice for that. Again, I'm having trouble with this bottom part because the tripod is like right in the way. So the bottom is probably going to look kind of sketchy. Well, the whole thing is going to look sketchy, but the bottom is going to look a little bit less than what I intended. Also like having little cracks in the 3Ds sometimes. So I'm going to keep adding more to the outline, but then I also like to add some cross hatching in the 3Ds. I fill this in a little more. So I'm going to and so when I do this stuff, like I just go like really super sketchy, and then I try to still go in passes like I was doing before, and then also have it sort of fade. It'll be darkest here and fade to lightest over here, and so that'll just be building up. And a lot of times it takes like quite a bit of layers before this really starts to look the way I want it to. This bottom part is going to be really bad because I can't really get the angle that I want to get. I don't know if you can see the tripod. Yeah, it's right here. So it's right in my way. So I'll just like really loose and just I'm sure anybody that knows like actual cross-hatching technique, if they're watching this, they're probably cringing right now, but this is how I do it. And it's just, I don't know, I just find it to be fun to be really sketchy like this. Oh, I forgot this one. trying to do this with my... It's weird filming a drawing because I like to rotate the book as I'm going, and so now I'm not able to do that, but I'm hoping at the end this comes together. And then for stuff like this, so this goes back underneath the U, so I would the shadows would be a little darker as it goes under. So I'm gonna kind of try to have it get darker as it gets closer to the letter and leave a little bit of the light on the outside. And then the same thing here. It would be a little bit darker underneath here. There's not a whole lot of room to mess with, and this pen, it just drops the super black line. It's not like working with a pencil, so as soon as you hit it, it's going to be on there. Then most of the time when I get the sort of 3Ds on there, it sort of makes it feel like the outline isn't quite bold enough, so then I'll end up doing more passes on the outline, and the outline often gets more sketchy as I go. And then I have these lines that were here, so I'll try to hide those a little bit with some textures. I also want to have textures on the surface of the letters, so it'll end up making sense. And then there's some stuff over here that I'll end up hiding with like some weird sketchy. I don't know if this is going to come together down here because the tripod being right in my way. I can't get the angle that I want. So this is where I'll add just some weird little stuff on the edges to make this look like not some leftover thing that wasn't supposed to be there. So just a couple of sketchy lines, and then sometimes I'll add like a little bit down here, like it's just a small shadow or something. I can't really get the angles that I want, so I'm just going to kind of add some random stuff. At some point I want to paint a piece like this, but I don't know. I think it would be fun to do this with paint. I guess you could do it with a needle cap or something, but that just seems like, I don't know. I should try it. It just seems, I don't know. Leave me a comment. Do you think I should do that? Try to do this super scratchy style with paint. Like I already do a scratchy style, but nothing like quite as much as this. But this is fun. I just like this loose kind of like layering. And when I'm doing stuff like this, I'm not really worried about if a line goes somewhere wrong, you know. It's that Wabi Sabi. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. It's kind of like accepting things as they are. It's like I think the common phrase is nothing is finished, nothing is perfect, nothing lasts, and I always forget when I'm on the spot, but look it up, Wabi Sabi. This is looking at that stuff is kind of what inspired me to kind of draw like this, because you can just sort of let yourself just do whatever it is, whatever you want to do, and if the line doesn't come out right, it doesn't really matter that much. So I think at that point, this is roughly where I would probably say that it's finished, and then maybe I'll try to squeeze in the crew somewhere. I'll hit up cuts, cleaning up the streets. Yeah, I think I would call it done. I don't normally add color to these, but I really want to try these out. So I got these magic inks. So I'm going to try adding some color. And I tested this. Make sure there's nothing wet. But these are, I think they're oil based, so they can go over other markers without smudging it, because the chemicals, I don't know, like oil and water or oil and alcohol don't react to each other or something. I can't really get the angles that I want, so it's probably going to be kind of blotchy, but we'll see. Then for this part of the 3D, I was going to do orange. On the darker parts of the 3D, I'm going to go with the red. All right, I think I would call that done. A couple of little white spots. Cool. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I want to do more of these step-by-step things, but it's 110 degrees in Vegas, so I thought maybe a quick little Blackbook session might fill the gap. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, more sketchbook stuff, I'll be definitely doing more painting stuff. But sometimes it's nice to be able to knock out a Blackbook session. So, all right, appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.